Welcome back to Bazooka Kickboxing and MMA. Today's episode, powered by HAYABUSA, is all about 6 things that piss me off and bother me when I watch fights. Today's episode is all about 6 different things that really bother me and piss me off when I watch fights. And these 6 things are gonna be more technical based. Yes, there's a lot of times where a fighter can come in, miss weight, or maybe not perform, the conditioning is bad. Those things piss me off as well because we're looking at professionals. And I expect when I watch professional fighting that the athletes themselves are doing what they need to do to be the best. Yes, last minute fights, things happen, there's variables, but when I watch fights and I wanna be entertained, I wanna make sure these 6 things are not happening so I can enjoy the fights. Let's get into the first one. And me, especially being a low kicker, I hate it more than anything when I see a fighter hurt their opponent's leg and then not continue to attack it. I do not understand, especially with this resurgence of calf kicking. The leg is hurt. All you need is maybe a different setup to attack the leg. That's not the time to attack the head. The leg is open, continue to finish the leg. Too many times we see fighters literally one kick away. They're hobbling on a leg and then what happens? Headhunting, and then ultimately you don't get the finish. Continue to go back to the leg. If the leg is hurt, what you need to do is you need to bring your punches back. And when you bring your punches back, what happens now is you create a distraction, or you create a different exit for your opponent to step to attack the leg. So you hurt the leg, go back to the head for a split second, but ultimately put your combinations together, go back to that leg and get the finish. Okay, good reference fight of mine to watch that is watch my fight with Francois Ambang at Glory 9. Okay, constantly chopping the legs, and then ultimately in the 3rd round, I was able to finish that leg and get the TKO win. So continue to attack the leg. The second thing that really pisses me off when I watch fights refers back to the first point of headhunting. We have to be able to mix levels. This is about professional fighting now. Okay, as an amateur, it's okay to just attack the head. You want the knockout. Great, I understand that. You're excited, you're new to the sport, and getting the knockout is what we ultimately want. And sometimes we chase it too much. And this is what headhunting creates. You want that finish, but the split second of maybe hitting the body, attacking the leg, taking that split second to maybe mix your punches and your kicks is just gonna make the fight that much better for you. You have to be able to mix levels. Headhunting is not gonna get you that finish, and it's an easier way to get the finish when you mix levels. So take that split second, hit the body, then go back upstairs, and you're gonna see more finishes. The third thing that pisses me off when I watch fights is when we get into the clinch, there's no attacking off of the break. We sit there, we get into a clinch, and then all of a sudden we wait for the referee to break us up. And then we break, and then we wait and reset. Using the clinch, you gotta be able to attack coming in, and you gotta be able to attack exiting from the clinch. There's such a brief moment, a good opportunity for you to attack your opponent off of the breaks. A lot of good knockouts happen because when you're clinching or you're head-to-head fighting, when you break from that position, a lot of times fighters put their hands down, which leaves the chin and the head open. So if you watch my fights, I love the exit head kick. From the clinch position, I like to push off. I'm either gonna push them off or create my space or let them leave. As soon as they leave that range, boom, the head kick meets. But you can do the same things with the punches. Attack off the breaks. Don't sit there and stop waiting for the referee to break the fight. Use it as an opportunity to strike and to hurt your opponent. The fourth thing that really pisses me off watching fights is fighters that really rely on one punch and they only throw it as a single. We've seen a lot of fighters with that big, powerful rear hand. They sit there, they wait, and they just throw it and throw it. They throw it with power, and they don't throw it with a setup. In order to land those big bombing punches, you need to set it up. Use your jab, use feints, create some angles. That one big shot is just gonna land better when you set them up. Especially now when you're fighting in the UFC or Glory Kickboxing or one of the biggest shows, the fighter you're fighting out is well prepared. They know you have that big power shot, so their whole defense, their whole strategy is to evade that shot. They might get hit with it once, okay, then they learn from that mistake, they adapt, and then they stay away from that shot. So you need to have different ways to set it up. Don't just throw it with the same timing, the same distance, and hope that that one shot's gonna land. You have to be able to adapt. If the one punch is not working, use a different setup. The setup might be using your kicks, might be using your jab mixed with feinting, but whatever it is, you gotta have different setups to be able to land that big shot. A lot of times that one shot, yes, will land, but a lot of times it's not, so you're gonna have to find ways to set it up to get that finish. The fifth thing that pisses me off a lot watching fights is when there's no action in mid-range. Mid-range is attack range. Attack range is not sit there and wait range. So when fighters get into this range, there needs to be some form of action. Ideally, when you're just out of range, as soon as someone even inches into my range, boom, I throw a jab, low kick. I'm using straight weapons to at least occupy that space in mid-range. It's gonna, one, keep my opponent defensive. If they're just able to walk in and get in strike range without being worried, it's easy for them to come in to attack. So you want to be able to paw them away, keep them away, even if they're light shots, occupy that space, make them think twice from coming in. Or when you're on that inside, let some power combinations go. Don't just sit in mid-range and hope action is going to happen. You have to go, you have to create it, and ideally, I like to be first in mid-range. The sixth and final thing that pisses me off when I watch fights are fighters that get hit with jabs and don't move their head. They sit there, boom, they eat a jab. Boom, they eat a jab, and they continue to walk forward in the same line, eating that jab. That's so frustrating to me. I always explain to my fighters, it's like someone having a rock, a piece of paper, or something, and they throw it at your face. If you're just standing there and it hits you in the head, the first time, okay, you weren't expecting it. But when you see them line up again to throw that thing at your face, if you don't move your head at this time, that's your fault. You can't just walk there with your head on a platter, walking straight, especially in MMA with a 4-ounce glove. You're gonna get yourself knocked out, especially off of the jab, comes with big straight punches. So everyone watching, ladies and gentlemen, move your head, mix feints, understand range and distance. And there's so many different strategies that you can do off of that. But again, slip your head to attack, pull counter, attack, but your head has to move off center line. Use your feints. If I feint, I see the jab, then I can slip and attack. But just stop walking forward in a straight line, getting hit with single jabs. Make it a little bit more difficult for your opponent to hit you. The other example I like to give is for those who play Call of Duty or the different first-person shooter games. If someone is trying to snipe you, you don't want to run in a straight line. You see everybody jumping, doing zigzag patterns because they want to make it difficult for their opponent to line up that straight line bullet. So move, angle, feint, make it difficult for your opponent. All right, so there you go. 6 different things that piss me off and bother me when I watch fights. Okay? I am very picky. I like little details and very subtleties to the fighting game. So yes, they might piss me off, but they might be exciting for you. A lot of times that mid-range fighting or the sloppiness brings out for great fights. And yes, I want to be entertained, but I also want to make sure the beauty, the artistry of martial art is shown in fighting. And that comes with distance, good strike selection, and being able to move, evade, and set up those big knockouts. All right, so make sure you keep liking and subscribing to Bazooka Kickboxing and MMA. Hit the notification bell to stay up to date, and make sure you support our channel sponsor, HAYABUSA, by checking out their T3 boxing gloves at HAYABUSAfight.com. I love their T3 line, especially that black and gold is my personal favorite. All right, so keep liking, subscribing, and we're gonna see you next time here at Bazooka Kickboxing and MMA.
3, 2, 1. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Woo! First try.
I didn't even look.
Stupid.
I didn't even look. What?
Yeah, that was fucking.
That's like ninja. That's Karate Kid. Blood sport.
Nice.
What?
Oh, you broke it in half too.
Did you get that?
Yeah, I did.